Live from Hallandale Beach, it's Holistic Strides. Hey now, everybody. Welcome to Holistic Strides, a Start With Your Feet production. We are coming to you live on tape from my office in sunny Hallandale Beach, Florida. My name is Dr. Richard J. Rimler, otherwise known as Doc Rick, and I am one of a few holistic podiatrists in the country. I am your host of Holistic Strides, a talk show devoted to taking small but powerful steps down a path to a more holistic lifestyle with an emphasis on foot health and the start with your feet approach to wellness. This includes unique advice on supportive shoes, orthotics, exercise via high intensity interval training, organic nutrition, vitamins and supplements, and stress management. So, why should you watch or listen to my show? The short answer is to achieve better health through self empowerment with the understanding that it all starts with your feet. The idea is to add one holistic principle regularly to your life and gradually transform yourself to better health. Just take it one step at a time. I can guide you since I have undergone the same transformation. Therefore, I walk the walk. Today, I will be talking about neuropathy. Before we get to that, I want to go over what I feel is the most important thing that you can do for your health besides not smoking cigarettes: high intensity interval training, which goes by the acronym HIT. Start by picking your preferred mode of exercise. It could be walking, running, using an exercise bike, treadmill, doing jumping jacks, or swimming. Try to do this close to home for convenience. Try doing it in the morning since it only takes 10 to 12 minutes. That way, you can get it in before work or school. Here is my personal prescription for HIT. Start off with a 20-second fast velocity, followed by a 1-minute slow recovery speed, and do this for 6 intervals. In my case, I go out to the street in front of my house and I sprint for 20 seconds. Then, after the recovery portion of roughly 1 minute of slow walking, I reverse my direction and sprint for 20 seconds once again for the next interval. After doing 6 intervals at 20 seconds fast speed, I then switch to a 15-second fast velocity, followed by the same 1-minute slow recovery speed, and do this for 3 more intervals. Guess what? You are now done. The take home point is that the final 3 intervals must be done at a faster speed to reap the health benefits, which are substantial. These benefits include strengthening your lungs and heart, aiding in weight loss by inducing a 12-hour fat afterburn, better oxygenation to your cells, and most notably, being anti-aging. Think of it as your own personal stem cell treatment given to you by yourself. I have been personally doing this technique since I first heard about it when I was age 50, and I think that this is one of the main reasons for my continued good health into my 60s. By the way, you can access a free ebook download about HIT, including my prescription, by going to my website, startwithyourfeet.com, and then you can find it on the blog section. I invite everyone to incorporate HIT into your schedule and join the Start With Your Feet and Holistic Strides family. Now, let's get to our main topic today, which is neuropathy. So, neuropathy is a generalized term for impaired nerve function. There can be 100 different forms of causes of neuropathy. So, one of the common complaints that I hear from patients relates to numbness or burning in their feet. Although numbness may seem like an innocent problem, it could actually lead to some severe potential complications. Burning feet can have a debilitating effect on a person, especially if it interferes with your sleep. Neuropathy is a general term, once again, related to nerve dysfunction, and it can have over 100 different causes. Here are a few that I find are the most common in my practice. One is diabetes or prediabetes. People with diabetes or prediabetes are prone to having neuropathy due to elevated blood sugar and its effect on nerve function. This will usually manifest as a symmetrical stocking and glove scenario. So it's going to affect the palms and the soles, most likely the soles of your feet. What a lot of people don't realize is that even pre-diabetes, which is the hemoglobin A1C range between approximately 5.7 and 6.5, can have the same side effects as having a hemoglobin A1C over 6.5, which is indicative of diabetes. So you really want to get that hemoglobin A1C down below 5.7 and out of the pre-diabetes range, because that can have the same effect on the nerves and other systems as if you were to have diabetes. Another common cause of neuropathy is lower back pathology. Having a herniated disc, which can lead to sciatica, having spinal stenosis, all of those can give neuropathy symptoms in the lower extremity. You will usually find that happening on one leg or foot rather than both, but it can be both as well. All of the nerves to the legs and feet emanate from the lower back. Lower back problems are the number one cause of disability in this country. So, lower back issues, besides, I believe it's the common cold and the flu, that is going to be the number one people why people are missing work. So the lower back is something that really has to be addressed. Even if you're not having a problem, I always recommend to my patients to do lower back strengthening and stretching every day, because it has so much potential for causing problems, not just in the back, but in the legs and feet. So the sciatic nerve comes from the lower back. It feeds the legs and feet. And if there's anything pressing on it, such as inflammation, a disc, or a bone, that can have symptoms in the feet, yet the source is coming from above. I am going to address the foot issues. I'm going to try to put the foot in the right foundation by foot typing the patient, putting them in the right orthotic. Usually, if I suspect anything with the back, I'm always going to put them in a softer orthotic, because a softer orthotic is always going to do better as far as being able to tolerate it when anybody has a back issue. I'm also going to first attempt, before I start with nerve supplementation, if I feel that it's the lower back, I'm going to attempt a natural anti-inflammatory first, because a lot of times if it's just inflammation pushing on the nerve, the natural anti-inflammatory is going to get rid of the nerve symptoms. If they don't improve, then I'm going to go start using nerve supplements. But I'm also going to have the patient go get x-rays and MRIs of their lower back and send them for a referral to a chiropractor or an orthopedist or a physiatrist to get the lower back looked at, because that is probably the source. Another common cause of neuropathy is taking statin drugs. So statin drugs are used to treat cholesterol. But a common side effect of those statin drugs is that it reduces the fat in your brain and in your nerves. And it also lowers the CoQ10 levels in your body. So if somebody is on a statin and they are having nerve symptoms in their feet, as long as they're not on a blood thinner, I'm going to put them on a CoQ10 supplement. CoQ10 is a coenzyme, and there are two forms, ubiquinone and ubiquinol. I'm going to put them on the ubiquinol, NOL supplement, because that is the bioavailable one. And that, just by raising the CoQ10 levels, which is the gasoline that feeds the cell engine, just by doing that, you can reverse the symptoms if the nerve symptoms are being caused by the statin drugs. Another common cause of neuropathy is a history of radiation or chemotherapy if somebody has had cancer and they have had that as a treatment. So that's an unintended side effect of the cancer treatment. But I always ask my patients if they've ever had cancer and what the treatments were, because if they've had chemo or radiation and they have nerve symptoms, a lot of times that is what is the cause of it. And then I'm going to then start them on nerve supplements. Another common cause of neuropathy is anemia, which is a low red blood cell count, and that can easily be determined via a blood test given by your primary care physician. So another thing to check out if you have nerve symptoms when you go to your physician, to make sure that they check and see and make sure you don't have anemia. Obviously, if anemia is what is causing it, the anemia has to be addressed by the primary care physician. Usually they are going to give iron supplements and make dietary changes to address it. So the first step that you want to do if you have numbness or burning in your feet is to get a professional neurologic evaluation. There are many treatments available depending on the symptoms and the severity, which is going to affect your quality of life. Prescription oral medications can be helpful, but they come with many side effects. That is why I like to use holistic treatments, which allow me to get to the root of the problem and do it in a safe method. Here are some treatments that I'm commonly going to use for neuropathy. As I mentioned before, if the patient's on a statin drug, I'm going to put them on CoQ10. Another supplement that I like to use for somebody with nerve symptoms is getting them on hemp seed oil regularly, which is very good for neurologic function. If it doesn't respond to the hemp seed oil, then I'm going to suggest that they go on CBD oil, which is also going to enhance neurological function. Another thing that is probably my go-to and the first thing that I use on many patients is called benfotiamine, which is bioavailable B1. B1 is thiamine, but when it converts to its bioavailable form, it's called benfotiamine. And I like to use the bioavailable form as a treatment. And I dose it in a particular way with a protocol, whereas I start high and then I go lower as time goes on. Realize that if you have neuropathy and you're treating it with supplements, you really should stick with the supplement treatment for 6 months before changing. It can take a long time to turn a nerve around. However, I can turn a nerve around sooner if I hit the right circumstances, such as if it's a lower back cause by inflammation, and I'm using a natural anti inflammatory to reduce the inflammation that's pressing on the nerve in the lower back. In that case, I can get rid of the nerve symptoms in a couple of days. And then that leads me to decipher that it's coming from a soft tissue influence from the lower back rather than a bone or a disc pushing on the lower back. But benfotiamine is great because it actually makes new nerve cells. Another cause of neuropathy, which I didn't mention earlier, is a B12 deficiency, and that is going to be tested in a blood test by your primary care. If you have a low B12, they're going to give you options such as taking a B12 supplement or getting B12 shots in the office. Realize that if you're on a B12 supplement, a lot of times people are taking the wrong one. So the regular B12 supplement that a lot of people take and that are a lot of products consist of is called cyanocobalamin, which is actually from cyanide, but that is not bioavailable. So the one that you want to take that's bioavailable is called methylcobalamin. And you can get that online and you can get that at drugstore, at health food stores. And the thing that you also want to know if B12 is the cause of the neuropathy is that you want to take it sublingually. So it's a lozenge that you put under your tongue, because if you take it by mouth, when the B12 capsule or tablet hits your stomach acid, it's going to get destroyed and it's not going to get into your cells. So by taking it sublingually, it's another way. It's sort of like a do-it-your-home IV treatment, and you bypass the stomach that way, and it gets right into your system. So taking a B12, you want to take methylcobalamin. You want to do a sublingual lozenge. And then, of course, you want to follow up with your primary care physician and make sure that your B12 gets back into the normal range. Hopefully, your nerve starts to function better and the nerve symptoms, such as numbness, burning, tingling, gets better. One final supplement that I will also use is called alpha lipoic acid, which is an antioxidant, but it can also nourish and make new nerve cells. So those are some things to take that are holistic, that can help nerve symptoms with very few side effects. If a patient of mine is having burning pain, that's a whole nother animal compared to numbness and tingling, and that has a lower impact on the quality of life. Once the patient tells me they have burning pain that's affecting their sleep, then at that point, I will consider using a prescription to deal with the symptoms. Some of the common prescriptions for that are going to be gabapentin, which is the generic Neurontin, Lyrica, Cymbalta. Sometimes Elavil is used also, which is an antidepressant, but a side effect of it is helping nerve symptoms. All of those are prescriptions. They do come with side effects. They do need to be dosed carefully and properly. They need to be introduced gradually. If you're going to raise the dose or lower the dose, it has to be done gradually. So those are the things that I'm going to do, because if somebody is having a quality of life issue with their sleep, when you sleep, that is when your body repairs itself, and that's going to set off a red flag for me that you can't just use supplements in a situation like that. You need to get them on something that's potentially stronger. However, it does come with side effects, so I'm going to try to use the lowest possible dose. And then over time, I am going to try to lower that dose of the prescription, but at the same time, try to have the supplementation for the nerves going full blast for many, many months to then hopefully repair the situation and get away from having those symptoms recur. Sometimes it's going to work and sometimes it's not going to work. If it doesn't work, well, then I'm going to try to keep that patient on the prescription, the lowest dose possible, preferably just in the nighttime, because one of the common side effects of those prescriptions are it's going to make the person sleepy and tired. So I'm just going to try to have that taken just in the evening when you're going to go to sleep shortly after, as opposed to taking it in the morning and then you're going your whole day or being tired. So that, in a nutshell, is the story about neuropathy. So again, a generalized term of affecting nerve function. It's going to cause numbness, tingling, funny sensations in the socks. Ultimately, it can cause a burning sensation. I will do my treatments based on the severity of the symptoms, holding off on prescriptions unless the patient has burning symptoms affecting their quality of life and especially their sleep. So it looks like we are out of here today. I hope that you enjoyed the show and learned something new. I want to thank all of my Striders for your support. I hope that you guys can incorporate today's topic into your lifestyle gradually over the next month to then make it a habit. Email me if you have any particular topics that you would like me to talk about on future shows. Until next time, keep on thinking outside the box in your approach to overall health by looking to your feet as a starting point. Walk strong and live long, my friends. See you next time on Holistic Stride.